Hi guys, Killer J here.
This is Phantom.
Yes. And today we're reviewing Overlord 2. Hell yeah.
It's a bit late to the bandwagon, but there's been a recent Overlord game that came out on it, at least Steam that I know of, and it ties us a bit to something relevant.
It's like almost like a parody of Lord of the Rings Overlord, the new Overlord games like Overlord something evil.
Yeah, something like that.
Okay.
Forces of Evil.
Yeah. Alright. The game developer Triumph Studios. And publisher Codemasters.
Was one of Codemasters' late greats of the Xbox 360 era.
It was a part of the PS3 as well.
Yeah, and
PC.
It's had some minor people playing it on PC. The main difference is just we're going to talk about here is Overlord 2 to 1.
Alright.
Because, Overlord 2 is pretty much just adult Pikmin. If you know about Pikmin, you kind of have you're like one main character who controls a little bunch of units with like the right thumbstick and some buttons on your D-pad, and the main point of the game isn't necessarily to kind of use yourself as a combatant, but to use your little minions to solve puzzles, take on enemy units, and even work through kind of like weird paths in the environment that you normally wouldn't be able to access.
This game had a lot of snow levels in it, which is pretty good, and I actually like the gameplay when you're fighting the enemies. It's pretty goddamn good, actually. The gameplay is pretty good for what it is.
Oh yeah. It's nice to boot up around this season when you start playing all the snow levels, especially the first level, You start in a little town and there's like the big Christmas tree that you proceed to set on fire, and
yeah. That's awesome. I actually like the Christmas time because it's actually a good time where you get together and freaking have good old fun. This game has a single player and a multiplayer mode as well.
Yeah, I never really even when the game was brand new, I've never been able to find anybody on the multiplayer, so I haven't exactly been able to test it out. But I did get to go through some single player a few times just recently, and I played the hell out of this whenever it originally released on Xbox 360. I thought it was a pretty awesome game. It definitely had me hooked as far as I could get into the game before I got stuck. And even now, I was worth picking up again.
Okay.
Just going back for nostalgia.
Okay. DLC included is called Battle Rock Nemesis, and the core gameplay is from the previous Overlord games, with game remains intact from the sequel, which is pretty interesting. A good thing that you haven't, because the gameplay is fun, and it's a good thing they have the gameplay that they have in this one as well, because like when you're playing a game, you're supposed to enjoy yourself and have a good time, just command your own squadrons and stuff like that, and do like abilities and stuff like that, help the Yeti out. The Yeti helps you out in that there.
Oh yeah, that's pretty much everything in Overlord 2 is just a very overhauled version of 1. Overlord 1 was fun, but it wasn't as action-oriented as this one. It was very heavily based into the story. So, there was fights, but it was very slow-paced. You didn't feel like you were as large a part of it. I mean, in Overlord 2, there's a significant amount of your own magics and stuff like that, and, breaking items in the environment to get your minions more powered up that keeps you kind of regularly taking part of the action. So, it's kind of cool that they're distancing you from it, so you get to take control of the minions, but at the same time, the game is very much about staying behind, controlling your guys, getting them powered up, and every now and then just jumping into the fight to shoot some lightning bolts or something like that.
Okay, so what's the story? Do you know the story of this game?
Vaguely, to be honest, because the story's kind of all over the place. It kind of starts like Overlord 1, the Overlord, eventually died, and Overlord 2 starts with this all the minion dudes are looking for a new Overlord. And they go to this little village where your character, this little boy, who has witch powers, is getting ridiculed by the locals.
Pretty much.
And yeah, the minions find him. He kind of has some fights with the
The kids.
evil empire and the kids, and then gets frozen and magicked up to become an adult. And they kind of just toss you into the game like that, and it's pretty much just the story is you becoming as big an overlord as possible, like
Yes.
upgrading your keep, extending your army, is taking on any opposition to your evil overlording, pretty much.
Yes, that's pretty crazy. You're a kid in the first, then you wake up, you're frozen. Now you're in a big ass. You're an adult demon
Yeah.
or whatever. Jeez.
It's there's a good emphasis on the story in this. Like you could say, even though there's more story itself. Like in the first one, it was very rooted into the story, but not much was going on. Whereas in the second one, there's a whole lot of different facets of the story, but it's not as rooted into, and it's more about just the puzzles and the levels and that kind of deal.
Okay, so basically, how is the sound audio? I think the sound audio is pretty good for a game like this. It fits the game well with the music and stuff like that, with the effects and that.
Well, the sound effects were kind of lame. Like the minions are hilarious.
Yes.
Like it's really funny. The game's really about being funny. The minions have some really funny dialogue, and they're always like bantering with each other, like saying funny things like out loud around you. But like other than that, like this spell sounded kind of lame, and the weapons, everything, like all the weapons were just studs.
Okay.
A lot. There's like some of the sounds is pretty lame, but the minions were funny as hell.
It's like, say you're like the friggin' Zord effects. They sound like you're basically using a friggin' plastic Zord there, like from a dollar store, like swinging it and that. The effects, like you said, the minions were pretty good dialogue, because the minions, they have a big banter and they carry on with the conversations that they have within the game itself.
Yeah, they're always filling, like, it's not so much about the background music, it's more of the minions just in the background saying funny things.
Yes.
Pretty stale background music and pretty stale sound effects on my end, I thought.
What do you think of the graphics, though?
In their time, the graphics were pretty good, but now they look pretty dated, Clearly, they came out years ago. I think like 2009, 2010, the game came
Something like that. It was like almost like a launch title at it was like a couple of years into the Xbox's life cycle,
Yeah.
the PlayStation's life cycle. It
Yeah.
was really late.
Overlord 1 launched with the console, and 2 was a year or so after. So, it was clearly an improvement from the first, and I thought it was amazing graphics for the Xbox 360 when it
Definitely.
first came out, but it's clearly dated now.
Okay.
Overall, they're decent, but it might just be because I've been doing it on PC. The textures looked kind of
Yep.
lumpy. It was almost like a lot of things looked like Play-Doh.
Lumpy crap.
Yeah,
All right.
You looked at a lot of models, and it was gross.
Okay, so what's the rating on this game?
The final score?
Yes.
My final score, I could have given it an 8 back in the day, but it stayed up about a 7. It's a pretty good game. It's something worth buying if it ever comes on sale, but it's not
Yes.
something I would go out of my way to buy if I saw like $20 maybe, $10 probably, or
Okay,
even,
somewhere around that price range.
yeah.
Well, I give it like the same score you give it. I give like a 7. So
Yeah.
all right, this is Killer J here, and fan.
Phantom.
All right,
See you guys.
bye.